didn't know which cause I joined, did I? No one told me. There I was, marching to war, and I had no idea who my friends were and who my enemies are to be. So, after a few days marching, I decided to find out, don't I? I goes up to this soldier, similar age to me, I reckon. Goes up to him and I says, "Excuse me, mate. Probably a silly question, this. But I don't suppose you know who we're fighting for, do you?" I'll never forget what the soldier says to me. He looks me dead in the eyes, he does. And he says, "Why, lad, isn't it obvious? We fight for Richard. He's the lawful king." Good. Excellent. That's that sorted then. So off my march, safe in the knowledge that Lord William Stanley and myself are fighting for King Richard III. And every day we march, we pick up more and more and more men, joining the cause, much like I had done just a few days earlier. Until, this one particular day, we pick up this lad. He's only a young lad, he's only, however old that is. Right. Now this lad, he's talking to an old soldier. And I'm listening to their conversation because I'm quite bored at this point. I don't have much interesting to say, I'll be honest with you. Until, towards the end of their chat, the young lad asks a question. The young lad says to the old man, "Who are we fighting for?" That's what it sounds like. Who are we fighting for? Of course I know the answer, don't I? But I'll never forget what the old man says to the young boy. He looks him dead in the eyes, he does. And he says, "Why, lad, isn't it obvious? We fight for Henry. He's the rightful king because of his blood, you see." And that confused me. One man says we're fighting for Henry, another man says we're fighting for Richard, and clearly we can't be fighting for both, can we? So that evening, I decided to settle matters for myself. After we make camp, I find a man of authority, a man of experience. I find myself a sergeant. And this sergeant, great big round man he was, he sat opposite a fire warming his hands. I goes up to him, sits next to him, strike up some conversation. Until eventually I say, "Sorry sir, probably a silly question this. Don't suppose you know who we're fighting for, do you?" I'll never forget what the sergeant says to me. He looks me dead in the eyes, he does, and he says, "Why, lad, isn't it obvious?" And I said, "No, no sir, it's not." He says, "We fight for whoever we're told to fight when we get there." That's it. Them's his words of wisdom, so it weren't right helpful, was he? And I'll be honest, at that very moment, I stopped caring. Don't care anymore. We could be fighting for Richard, Henry, Larry, I don't care. Provided I'm on the winning side. That's the only thing that matters, isn't it? When it comes down to it, being on the winning side. But then again, it's mighty frustrating marching to war and not knowing who your enemy is. So march we do, for a day, and another, until on the 22nd of August, beautiful day, scorching hot day, you were sweating, just stood still. 22nd of August, we arrived at a field near the market town of Boston.